Hello everyone. We have that light there. Oh, there's lights everywhere. Sorry. Except for there's not one over where the door goes. Justin here from Geriatric Punk on the Apocalypse Nova, volume 4 or 5, I'm not sure which. So, see what we got going on here. We had her running. Had her running last time. And since then, this now has a Holly Demon Quadrajet replacement carburetor on it as the throttle squirter, what do you call that? Accelerator pump was not working on the Edelbrock, which the Edelbrock I got free with this motor, so just checking it out. It just needs a little bit of accelerator pump work, and it'll probably work too. Throttle linkage is hooked up now. Got a spring on it. I stepped on it the other day and this all slid forward. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna crank this up on video, but it might actually be going 5,000 RPM or something. No, it's bottomed out. Just won't have as much throttle travel maybe as it should, which is okay right now. Yeah, so there we go. That's what's going on with the motor. I don't know, I'll go around the other side. Don't know if we've discussed the lighting in here. The camera doesn't like it, so hopefully we'll just have to see how it turns out. But that is a 2-handle 3-speed shifter. I was unable to come up with the stock or an aftermarket that would work with the van transmission I got in here. Just the way the speedometer cable hooks up to it. I do have the speedometer cable hooked up, but that was the only way I could figure out to get this thing to shift, because the speedometer cable interferes with the stock Nova shifter, 3-speed shifter, or an aftermarket that bolts to the tranny. The arms at the bottom are just right in where that speedometer cable comes. I relocated the ignition to next to the seat there, so I got a toggle switch and a push button for ignition on and starts. When I put the dash in, it destroyed my having it mounted at the dash there, so that had to be moved. So that's the shift and the ignition. And another little problem I had with this beauty, the original gas tank, which looks pretty nice, somebody tried to build a drag race setup on there and it leaks like a sieve all the way around it. So even though I think I had it all flushed out and I don't think it would have been too rusty, I think it would have worked, but that box that they welded on the bottom of the tank for drag racing leaks all the way around, so I'm not sure what, So what my solution was, this is an old circle track tank that I didn't use out of chassis I bought because it's small. I run hobby stock, so I use a big tank for ballast, whereas this was a smaller tank, so I didn't use it. But the nice thing about this is it had a nice clean plastic bladder inside of it, so no rust, nothing. It doesn't look pretty, but it's a nice clean gas tank. So it's got this vent has a roller valve in it, and we got her all plumbed with 3/8 fuel line there. And I had to flip it around, I had it in there wrong. The pickup goes this way, because like when you're doing left turns going around the circle track, you want your pickup point, just in case this thing ends up on a dirt track for some reason. I'm already wanting to put kickers and a hoop in it, just because just because of my cheap bumper here, race style bumper I put on here. So if anything hits it, if I got a hoop in the cabin and kickers coming back from that hoop to here, this is the structure that the leaf springs bolt to, and if there's no support there and it gets rear-ended, it might fold. If I weld a hoop and kickers in here, it'll keep this from folding, so it'll be a lot tougher in the event of a rear-end collision of some sort. So I originally bought this car thinking of building a vintage stock car out of it, and decided not to because I figured it was too nice. It was too nice, and I probably would have just used this to skin an existing stock car I got with a metric chassis, because it would have been probably better. I just decided it was too nice to do that. But this thing, I mean, it's obviously, you know, on the street race car theme type setup. I don't know if you'll be able to see I have a 5 control panel in there. I've only got the start and the ignition plumbed into it so far, but we can hook 3 more things up to that panel. I got a steering wheel I had from another car, and this is a passenger seat out of a Monza. The driver's seat was completely destroyed, but as the passenger seat was very lightly used, makes a nice driver's seat for this. I just had to shim the driver's side of it up, you know, to get it bolted in there level. Nice looking seat. It's very similar to a Camaro, 70s Camaro seat. Might even be identical. So that's where we're at. So I am going to attempt to start this after horribly flooding it, because my dash knocked all my controls I had here. There was a wire knocked off. I had no ignition. I didn't know it. I kept trying to start it, and I pulled the plug and it was soaked in gas. Got that baby back in there, I think. Good. And I started yanking on the wires. I was about 6 beers in. I had a pretty good fit over that, because I wanted to sit out here, you know, with a beer and just, you know, crank this baby up and enjoy it. And she was not starting. But I needed to relocate the ignition to a better place anyway. And my goal is not to have one bit of wire under the dash, because I absolutely hate working on wiring underneath dashboards. So this thing sounds awesome. It's like right in between a rough idle cam on a stock car or a hobby stock and a factory. This is a solid lift LT1 cam I got in here. See if we can bark it off again. It's only 6 o'clock, so ordinance laws take effect about 9 o'clock here. Ignition. Check. And I'll try it without a pump. you have it. Pretty good sounding LT1, I think. Probably got some small truck valves on them heads. I'm not sure what it has for heads or what all has been done to that motor previously. It looks as though it's been gone through. Has really good oil pressure. Has like almost 40 pounds of oil pressure at idle. So I would assume someone had replaced the oil pump. There was a little bit of sealant oozing out from underneath the head bolts. Don't come from the factory that way, so somebody did it was their project motor, and maybe they just put over the counter non-zinc oil in it and roasted the lifters. Other than that, seems like a pretty nice motor. Yeah. The dash and the glove box door and the ashtray installed. So they've got, I'm kind of growing fond of this cracked up dash. I mean, I was going to buy a cover for it, but I'm starting to I don't know, I'm starting to kind of like it. I'm odd that way. I like rustic things. Alright, so that'll be it for today. This is Geriatric Punk signing off. Have yourself a wonderful winter solstice, evening, lunchtime, morning, evening, bedtime, and we'll talk at you next time. Later.